Hey everybody, Pete. Hey everybody, it's Pete. How you doing today? We're going to be creating a game plan, a trading game plan for Wednesday, June 9th, 2021. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to be focusing on the meme stocks, and I think the OG of meme stocks is going to be talking about GameStop. The symbol is GME for that stock, and whether or not it is a buy scheduled to have earnings June 9th after the close, it is going to be interesting because have valuations gone out the window? Do they even matter anymore? We'll see. And what really matters, if you're watching this, if you're in the window in the world that I trade, which is the day trading and swing trading window where I'm buying and selling stocks all day, this is kind of the value investing paradigm is kind of off the table right now. Everybody says that whether or not the market eventually gets back and corrects to where it is. I don't know. I don't know. Are we going to get a crash? Are we going to continue to hang out where we are? Is there just now this takeover for the small investor banding together? It would be nice if this does continue because we're getting plenty of volatility. So stick around. We'll be right back. We're going to get deep into the meme stocks and whether or not they are or should be a buy. All right. Be back in just 1 second. Okay, so actually, if I could just do me one favor, if you find value in these videos from one day to the next, I'd really appreciate if you leave some comments below. Let me know what you'd like to learn. Obviously, we're trying to have a dialogue back and forth and build a community, and I want to know what your challenges are, what your obstacles are, what your objectives are, whether you're day trading, swing trading. Leave a comment below and we'll have a little bit of a back and forth. And if it's your first time here to the channel, first of all, I want you to know how much I really appreciate it. Just do me a favor, click down and give us a thumbs up if you find this stuff helpful. Subscribe and then hit that alert button so that you get updates because we actually put out new videos every day. The weekend's usually on Sunday, but we have some more education coming out, especially on candlestick charting. We have a big thing coming out on that soon too. So heading on over to the screen, we're actually going to take a look first at, we're actually going to jump right into GameStop, GameStop stock, and whether or not it's a buy right now. All of the meme stocks have consolidated. The vicious buying that we saw last week has definitely paused. Now, whether or not the buying pressure has subsided and it's done, or they're just catching their breath remains to be seen. But if you watch what we do every day, we are chart readers elevating ourselves into traders. So there's chart reader, tape reader, and trader. We want to do our best to get you out of chart reading and into the trading mindset, which kind of brings us into what the market's doing right now. I got a bunch of feedback this afternoon, and people saying everything we looked at and spoke about this morning, it didn't follow through. Not really. We had plenty of good intraday opportunities today. We had some swing trades that followed through. If you paid attention, the energy stocks again yesterday, which led yesterday and again today, we're still watching those stocks. A couple of breakouts that we had in Facebook pulled back a little bit. CRM pulled back a little bit. But that's the market we're in right now. You have this balance between do I hold using profit maximizers or do I just take what's available because the market's kind of chopping around? It's a really big conversation that we're having behind the scenes in the boot camp right now and inside of this swing trade community. By the way, if you want to find out about what we do every day, click the link below the video. I'd love to see you on the other side. So we're going to jump right into, you know what, let me stick with that topic for a second. It can be frustrating. We had a little bit of a dialogue after the market closed today about profitable trades, moving up into your favor, looking to add to the positions, looking for them to take off a little bit and maximize the wins so that they pay for all those annoying losses. We're getting good trades. And this is really what I want to get across right now. Most of the conversations that we're having in our private communities are about managing winning trades. It's a pretty good thing right now, considering that the market broke out, failed, and we're just kind of still hanging on there. And the sector rotation, and we'll take a look at that in a second, has kind of been by the hour, where we're not getting 2, 3, 4 weeks or 2, 3 months of one sector being in play and following through. We had solar stocks last week, and then energy stocks, and then technology stocks for 2 days, and then back to energy stocks again. You really need to be on top of your entries, your position sizing, and knowing what your initial profit target is in order to justify taking that risk in the first place. Is it annoying? Can it be a frustrating thing where you have $8 on a trade and it comes back and you take 5 instead of 8? Sure, it is annoying. But wouldn't you rather just be happy that most of the conversations we're having right now are about winning trades as opposed to I can't find a good idea? So let's keep things in perspective. keep our positive attitude. And right now, we're going to go right into the market and determine whether or not the game plan from yesterday and a good portion of that is still valid today. So we're going to head on over to the screen. We're actually going to take a look at, first we're going to go right into the SPY. And I want to really make that case that I was just talking about. The SPY actually decreased volume, resting still at all-time highs, basically 9 cents positive from the previous day, which means that we're still valid. Everything that we talked about yesterday is still there. Just because we didn't break out and explode doesn't mean everything's off the table. Now, it was a little annoying today is the fact that we broke out exactly like we said, but we didn't hold the bid. And if you remember this morning and even last night, we said we need to open up higher, hold the bid, and then we could size up and pay attention to our sectors to see if we're getting follow through on the sectors. And we could have sized up, held bigger positions, and held longer. We didn't get that, so we shifted right back into day trading mode, managing the open swing positions. And then we did have a couple of swings that actually triggered for us in the community. It is what it is. This is a big thing with trading. If you want to last in this business, if you want to have a long career where your account is going steadily higher and higher and higher, it's just like driving. I say this all the time. You get on the road, you do 90, like I drive 90. I can't drive 90. You do 75, 80 miles an hour and nobody's on the road, but you just don't keep doing that regardless. And that's the same thing with market. If all of a sudden it becomes stop and go traffic, you have to adjust. You have to adjust your position sizing. You have to adjust how you plan to build that position. You have to adjust initial profit targets. So if it pushes up and pauses, are you getting out? Or if it pushes up and pauses, are you adding to it? If you want to elevate yourself from just somebody who understands how to recharge to somebody who actually is taking money out of the market on a regular basis, you need to learn how to make those adjustments. And that's what separates somebody who's chart reading from somebody who's a trader. A trader does not try to be right. A trader pays attention and then makes adjustments. We get feedback, we go back to the market. We get feedback, we go back to the market. And that's really what my mission is for these videos in the first place. Look, trading can be frustrating. It can be hard, but if you watch and you pay attention, you take notes every day, it's not frustrating anymore. If you really understand what you're doing from order flow perspective and then sector and then into the market, it's really easy to find good ideas once you understand order flow. The last part that a lot of people miss is timing. Timing into those trades, not chasing the price, and knowing what a risk should be based on how much in the trade is still available. So heading back over now into the granddaddy of the meme stocks. Look, there's conversations out all over the place. We're not really trading the earnings. I mean, let's just face it. We're trading the current volume and the current volatility of the way this stock is being dominated right now. Because if we're just trading earnings, let's face it, is GameStop really a $300 stock based on what their earnings are going to be right now? No, but we're going to trade based on how the tape unfolds. There's a lot of volatility in the stock. You really need to make a decision right now. Can you handle the volatility? And I'm not talking about from a dollar perspective. I'm talking about, can you handle the volatility in a stock like GameStop right now, especially with the earnings coming out right now? Should you be buying a stock like that before earnings, after earnings? Should you hold it without a head start into earnings based on your risk tolerance, based on how fast you could make a decision? This ended ugly for people back in January who couldn't make a decision, bought the stock in the high 400s, and it drifted all the way back below 100. So if I can give you advice as a friend right now, not trading advice, but advice as a friend, look yourself in the mirror and say, can you handle that volatility both before and after earnings? If you're an active, experienced trader, though, man, it is, it's heaven. It's what we want to look for. We're dropping down to probably shorter timeframes than we normally do, but this is the kind of action that you want to get involved with. So we're not even going to put projections on there. We're not even going to make a prediction. If I could be like Mr. T in Rocky 3, I wouldn't say prediction pain. I would say prediction volatility. There's going to be a lot of volatility tomorrow, both prior to it and after earnings. Again, if you're brand new to the markets, especially if you're still getting your feet wet, you really should not be getting involved, especially after hours, because of the liquidity and the bids and offers are dramatically different than they are during the market hours. So when you think you're going to get out at a reasonable trade, the bids disappear and there's really no place to get out. So be smart about how you choose to attack this. However, what is kind of interesting is trading this and the other meme stocks that should have some good volatility and reasonable volatility if you happen to not be in that upper tier of people who've been actively trading. So I'm going to give you the list now. Now you can decide whether or not some of these meet your criteria. Now, what's kind of interesting is, you know how we talk every day about the stock market power pyramid, which we talk about the market itself, then there is the sectors, then there's the industry groups, and on top of that is stock specific. We were joking around today in the community that the memes are kind of like their own index right now, where they're all trading together at the same time and moving in the same direction. So we're going to look at those right now. We're going to take a look. We're going to go straight to the charts and give you some other ideas if you can't or shouldn't be in that volatility with GameStop on Wednesday afternoon. So obviously AMC is right up there with it. And just from a technical perspective, let's think about this. If you knew nothing about meme and all of that garbage that's going on, or greatness, whatever perspective you want to put on it, you would see an amazing bull flag right now that has paused 3 melted candles, 4 melted candles out of the last 4 days, giving us an opportunity, especially with decreasing volume, to get involved. So we're just looking at that from a price action perspective, reading the tape, looking at the price, looking at the volume. AMC looks pretty good again for tomorrow. BlackBerry, same exact thing. Volume hasn't dropped off a cliff just as much, but 3 days of pausing and roughly $18. BYND, I've been watching BYND every day and trading a little bit, has not pulled back. So this is one of those things, again, I want to come back to the screen really quickly. We talk a lot about stocks pushing up and pulling back as a natural function of the market. Stocks push up and go sideways. That means that they're holding the bid. The buyers are not letting it go down, so there's still interest in there. They just haven't stepped up and started paying higher prices. That's what we're seeing in BYND. So that should be on the radar for you tomorrow because it's holding the bid. Also working our way over to a good trade that we had last week, which was the 1450 buy stop before it went up to 18. And actually, no, I'm sorry. We actually got long at 950. 1450 was AMC. This is also pausing. I will tell you this, though. Workhorse is not trading the same way as it did last week. The volatility is still there, but the readability, the tape is a little bit challenging right now. If I had a choice between them, I'd kind of lean away from this one and look to work the position. And kind of the forgotten child over here of this whole spike in volume and stocks waking up out of nowhere. Virgin Galactic had 2 more good days, and it actually got through the resistance level. We called out today minor resistance here, and then maybe a run all the way back up into the 50s. So keep an eye on that one as well. I do want to talk about a couple of energy stocks that we mentioned this morning, and they will and should be in your watch list because they're just kind of sitting right at breakout levels. Number one is CPE, which actually paused now for 5 days after a really good momentum move to the upside, and Hess, which has been the leader in the energy stock since it reported earnings all the way over here. The only other one that I want to point out, actually 2. We'll finish up with 2. Bed Bath & Beyond, really good spike here and pausing as well. I don't know if I'd consider them the same as the meme area, but a lot of options activity from what I saw today was happening in there. FSLY should be on your radar. Really good expansion in volatility as well as volume. And one that's kind of off the radar, and I just want to come back on the screen just for 1 second. This is actually one of my favorite setups where we have a strong stock that pushes higher, pulls back for a couple of days, closes near the low, especially on both days. It's even a better setup. So push up, pull back, closing on the lows is a monster part of that trade. Generally speaking, the next day you open just a little bit lower, and then you get right back into yesterday's trading range, and it sets up a really good swing trade to the upside. So the stock I want to point out that meets that criteria right now is RBLX. It didn't quite close on the low, but what we're looking for tomorrow, I should say on Wednesday, June 9th, we're actually looking for this stock to open flat, push down into the low around 89, find buyers, and then start a new move to the upside. So there's a lot going on, but it's more of a stock-specific market right now because the SPY is in a 2.5-month trading range, resting comfortably still at those all-time highs. Just remember, you might have been disappointed that we didn't follow through today, but we also didn't sell off. So you have to ask yourself both sides. Yeah, we didn't get the buying pressure that we game planned for. There's still plenty of good opportunities. We're still sitting there, so don't give up on that game plan. It's still in play. So thank you so much for joining me today. We're looking forward to a great day of trading on Wednesday, June 9th. First time here or not your first time here, give us a thumbs up if you find this kind of content valuable and actionable for you. Click down, give us a subscribe, and make sure you hit that alert because you get updates every time we put a new video up too. So have an awesome day, everybody, and be better than you ever thought you could be. Take care now.